My name is Kim, and this is my aha moment. I was a new pastor. I was an ordained minister with a mainline denomination, and I was in my first appointment as associate pastor at that church. So I went and visited the hospital, and I went into a room and kind of mindlessly, quite honestly, went in, said hello, shook hands, listened for a moment, said a prayer, and went to the next visit. And that continued throughout the day. And then I was scheduled to end my day out at the nursing home at a retirement community where one of our members, many times I'd visited her before, she'd never spoken to me, we'd never talked, she never really was responsive. I pulled a chair up beside her and sat, took her hand, said hello, and sat there and very quickly began thinking about the meeting that night and worrying about budgets. Then it got time to leave. I kind of came to myself and I turned to her and I said, well, I'm going to leave now, and I said a quick prayer. And just as I started to get up, with her hand still in mine, I felt her squeeze my hand. And so I stopped and I looked, and she turned her head and looked directly at me and said, "Thank you." And then she turned her head back and let go of my hand and was gone again. But in that moment, I all of a sudden became aware that although I was obsessed with all this stuff that I thought was important, it was clearly this smaller event, this human-to-human connection, which was really where the importance was. And that has haunted me in a wonderful way throughout my life ever since then. And so I find myself paying more attention to people than to things, more attention to relationships than to events or crises. God shows up in the small ways, and if we are not paying attention, we'll miss it. But the really good news is, with a little bit of attention, we don't.